Following program is for training purposes in TV news education. Some copyrighted material is used and is credited on screen. However, no more was taken than was necessary to tell the story of the event. YBA claims fair use of materials.
Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of K-Sports Sunday live from Waltham in our new studio, the Boomtown studio at Rex Trailer Productions. I am joined by Alex Barth, I'm Adam Magaletta, and a bunch of things to talk about today.
So much to talk about. What an incredible day in sports yesterday. Can I just say January 12th, 2013 will go down as a great day just for sports all around, professional, college, football, basketball. Hockey, yeah. Tom.
Yes.
You know, not much going on in the actual game of hockey, but the CBA getting signed, still a very big deal.
Yeah, it seems like the second half of that Broncos-Ravens game made up for all of the not so exciting wild card weekend games from last week. So to begin, we will go for a Patriots preview. They are playing the Houston Texans at about 4:30 today. The winner obviously going to play the Baltimore Ravens for the AFC Championship game and another chance to go to the Super Bowl. And so now we send it over.
We're gonna go over there. All right, to their thoughts. You're the host. You lead.
To our friends Liam and Tom Kelly.
Best friends.
Bestest friends forever.
Yeah. All right, Tom. So obviously it's nice to have this new screen behind us.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's a bit different than the old studio, isn't it?
But I think, yeah.
Now, with today's game, it's obviously going to be a very, very big game for Patriots and for the Texans as well, as earlier this season when they played each other, the Texans were destroyed, to say the least.
Yeah. I don't think this game will be any different from that Monday night game. All the Patriots really have to do is take Arian Foster out of the equation, and they're golden.
Yeah. All right, well, it's looking like it's actually supposed to be back with the other guys, so I'm going to send it back to Alex and Adam.
And for the Patriots to win this big game, there are going to be certain X factors that are going to have to go well. So for a discussion of our four key performers of the game, Alex, name one.
All right, well, my first key performer for the game, Houston Texans, starting on offense. Or no, we're going to start with your key player for the Patriots offense.
Rob Gronkowski, probably the biggest difference between this game and the Monday night game about 4 weeks ago. Obviously, one of the most dynamic tight ends in the game was injured for the last blowout over the Houston Texans, and if the Patriots can utilize him even more, then they will have even more options than they did in the first game, and it could prove really advantageous.
And then for the Patriots on defense, a guy who's going to need to step up is Donta Hightower. They brought him into New England so he could stop the run, and today he's going to have to do just that because of this man, the Houston Texans big playmaker, Arian Foster, the one player who played well last time these two teams faced off for Houston. And it's not a matter of him having a big game. It's how big of a game is Houston going to let him have. He needs at least 30 touches for this game to stay close.
And one of the players that makes a lot of waves usually, but not so much in the last game, J.J. Watt on the defense for the Houston Texans is going to need to step up big and swat down a couple of Tom Brady passes. And so now for a discussion yesterday, obviously you could argue one of the best playoff games in recent NFL history, the Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens. We'll send it over to Liam.
All right, we're going to go to the highlights here as the Denver Broncos and Baltimore Ravens had one of the best games in a while.
Would be an understatement.
As you see here, Trendon Holiday takes a kickoff 90 yards to the house for a touchdown for the Broncos. Giving them a 28-21 lead in the third quarter. Next Broncos possession, little bubble screen there to Demaryius Thomas as he goes in for the touchdown, giving them the 7-point lead. But the Ravens would not go away, as with 30 seconds left, Joe Flacco throws up a prayer to Jacoby Jones downfield, and he is wide open as he breaks it in for a 75-yard touchdown, bringing this game to OT. End of the first overtime with about a minute left as Peyton Manning rolling right, and he throws it into the middle as it is picked off by the Ravens, giving them one last try to get a field goal or touchdown. They would go for the field goal, and Justin Tuck would hit the 47-yard field goal, giving the Ravens a 38-35 victory. Now, Tom, obviously a crazy game as you saw there.
That game last night, yesterday, was an insane game. It lasted like 4 hours. It was a shootout.
It's like a baseball game with how long it lasted.
And the first Broncos drive of the game was a run back per touchdown, and the game just went back and forth. It was a seesaw battle that came.
It was a 7-point game all the time.
And it came down to a Peyton Manning mistake that we
all
New England love to see.
Yeah, every year it seems like it's one and done in the playoffs for Peyton Manning.
You use that term seesaw. The term I would use is prize fight. It was like two heavyweight champs just exchanging blows back and forth. And, you know, when they say that a game has everything, Mike, I can't read that. When they say that a game has, I just have to flat out tell you.
Thanks for the NFL for the coverage.
Thanks to the NFL for the coverage. When they say that a game has everything, you hear that term thrown out, oh, this game had everything. This game literally had everything. Double overtime. It's only the sixth time in NFL history team has gone to double overtime. It had the tuck rule. This game had the tuck rule.
The snowball had the tuck rule, too.
Everything.
It had scoring. It had everything, as you said.
I mean, you look at it, a 35-38 game there. It's not exactly a low-scoring game, which the NFL loves to see these days. The offenses are just getting bigger and faster. Back to you guys.
And the Broncos-Ravens game wasn't the only one happening on Saturday. Later that night, the 49ers and the Packers squared off to see who would get the first spot in the NFC Championship game. Let's take a look at the highlights. In the first quarter, Colin Kaepernick looking for a pass. He is going to be picked by Sam Shields, who will run it back for about a 50-yard pick six. The Packers jumped out to the early 7-0 lead. Later in the game, Colin Kaepernick, trying to redeem himself, finds Michael Crabtree in the end zone in a 21-14 San Francisco 49ers lead. But you know that the Green Bay Packers are going to answer. Aaron Rodgers going back to pass, finding James Jones for the equalizer, 21-21. Later, Colin Kaepernick showing that he can dominate not only in the air but on the ground to a 56-yard touchdown run. That would give them the 31-24 lead. Later on, just to seal it, Frank Gore from 2 yards out would run it in 38-24, 45-31, the final score. The 49ers take the first spot in the NFC, and the Packers, who were my pick preseason to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC, are eliminated. A game that was basically 50-50. If you asked 10 people, 5 people were going to say the Packers, 5 were going to say the 49ers, and it turned out that the 49ers, it seemed really close in the first half, but in the second half, the 49ers really pulled it out.
Hey, Jim Harbaugh looks like a genius right now. I'm telling you, because Alex Smith through the air. You know, you have the equality of it. 2 of those touchdowns Kaepernick scored are not being scored by Alex Smith, plain and simple. He, you kind of got a feeling that he knew Alex Smith wasn't his quarterback. He's looking for the excuse, and you got to feel for Alex Smith. The guy's a good quarterback. He'll get a job next year starting, but excellent foresight by Jim Harbaugh to make the switch.
And when it first happened, I really did feel bad for Alex Smith. He was not having a bad year at all when he got injured. He was having a mildly good year, and they came in and they brought in Colin Kaepernick. And I'm going to be honest, I was one of those people that said, oh, he's too young, he's too inexperienced, he won't do well. And then when he did well, I said, this is the postseason, there's no way he's going to meet the challenge. And he most certainly did, outplaying Aaron Rodgers. Who would have thought?
I was on a radio show up WICB 92.3 Ithaca, and you're supposed to plug the station, by the way. They tell you to do that no matter where it is.
Really now?
We were talking, this was the week before the Niners played the Patriots, and I said, well, Kaepernick obviously looks like he can play, but he hasn't won his big-time game yet. Russell Wilson, you're willing to give credit to because he beat the Patriots. That's a big-time win. Kaepernick has now beaten the Patriots. He's now beaten the Packers. He has proven he is a big-time player.
Well, when you look at Colin Kaepernick, obviously having 100-plus rushing and almost, 300 yards in the 200-plus yards in the air. You can't fault that in any way. That is big-time football in the playoffs.
You cannot, coming into the season, Alex Smith always being the star QB, you could not predict did Colin Kaepernick will come in and just beat the Green Bay Packers as he did in the NFC divisional round.
It's really looking like Colin Kaepernick could be one of the big futures in this league.
Next big thing, yeah.
If you look at it, there are 6 QBs that are in their first or second year that all made the playoffs this year.
I just want to give my condolences to Alex Smith right now. I mean,
you gotta feel bad for the guy.
Call Colin Kaepernick an elite quarterback yet? Yes, he's had a good year, but you know who had a good year last year? Cam Newton. And then teams figured him out. And he had an average year this year. Will he play better next year? Probably.
You know who played last year too? Tim Tebow.
He did. Well, that's a whole nother. No.
Just no.
Kaepernick, you know, he's played well, but we'll see. And it looks like the Falcons are going to go on to win. They're up 27-7 right now on Seattle. Mike Smith is not a dumb individual, and the Falcons have a good defense. They now have tape on Colin Kaepernick. They have an extensive amount. They know what his tendencies are. Now it gets tough because now he's not just out there playing football. Physically, he has to play mentally as well and make sure that he keeps the defense off guard.
And it'll be an interesting game between San Francisco and Atlanta because both quarterbacks will have only won one playoff game in their entire career. So they're both inexperienced when it comes to the playoff. A really big game, obviously, for a chance to go and play in the Superdome in New Orleans for the Super Bowl title. Guys, what are your predictions for next week's game? It looks like it's going to be, unless the Seattle Seahawks pull out some sort of miracle, it looks like the Atlanta Falcons will go on to face San Francisco. Right now, most people would say that even though Atlanta is the first seed, they would give the edge to San Francisco. Do you guys agree?
I definitely agree. I think with the improved play of Colin Kaepernick, you have to say that they're at least comparable, if not better, right now at quarterback. If you look at Matt Ryan, he seems to have issues every time he gets out of the pocket or gets any pressure on him. The passes
or in the
fall
playoffs
short.
alone. Or in the playoffs
Yeah,
alone.
the playoffs alone. The Falcons have not been a good playoff.
It's taken them this long to win a playoff game.
This is different. This is different. They have won. It's looking like they're going to win. You can't count your chickens before they hatch.
You gotta
assuming the
knock on
Falcons
wood.
are in the playoffs still next week, I give the upper hand to the 49ers as that defense is too good.
I think that Matt Ryan silenced a lot of critics today. If the score holds true, which obviously it seems like it's going to, a lot of people said that he can't win the playoff games. The Matty Ice nickname is a fraud nickname, and I think a lot of those doubters were silenced, at least partially, by today's game.
Well, if anybody's nickname was proved fraud this weekend, that's Champ Bailey. I think Ronald needs to start thinking about retiring. But here's the thing. Don't say this Niners game is over. Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, this team prides themselves on the spectacular. They do what people say can't be done. If this score holds, which, I mean, probably it will, in all honesty, a 20-point game in the playoffs will probably hold.
It's getting late in the game.
I think Matt Ryan, now that he's got that first playoff win off his chest, I think he goes in and wins next week. I think they become a very dangerous team now that Matt Ryan is confident. I would like them in the Super Bowl against any team but the Patriots. I think Matt Ryan with confidence is dangerous. But if Seattle wins, this is the last time Seattle and San Francisco
Which is highly unlikely.
Seattle destroyed San Francisco physically, those defensive backs. I don't see Vernon Davis wanting to go over the middle. I don't see Michael Crabtree wanting to go over the middle. It takes away San Francisco's whole game. I like Seattle if they can pull it out.
So much swirling around these playoffs. We'll take a break right now, and we'll come back here on K Sports YBA.